Hello, it's Sasha Benedetti here, and I am so honored that Diane has asked me to share a solstice message with you for this culmination of love and centering in the heart during these very intense times. I have been practicing what I am starting to refer to as embodied astrology for the last 8 years, which is taking into account the map and the astrology charts, as well as the experience within our bodies as we engage with the living sky. And so I am very much feeling the power of this moment, and you don't need any astrology to inform you that we're living through some very wild times. And so the message that I wanted to share is that we really are at this choice point, and we're coming into this solstice that is like no other solstice that we've lived through, because there's a convergence of so many cosmic forces and so much is ripe for change. And so this solstice point, which is December 21st, very soon, perhaps today when you're seeing this, is celebrated in many cultures for since ancient times. These seasonal changes are considered to be portals and openings and power times to really align with the earth and the sky, as well as to pay attention to our own bodies and what's happening within them, to tune into our inner wisdom. And so there's so much going on this year. There's so much that we can pay attention to in any map and in any system. And in astrology, it can be dizzying, all of what's going on. And so what I love to focus on is I love to focus on the Venus cycle, because Venus represents our heart wisdom, our feminine essence that we all have. All humans have this feminine essence as well as a masculine essence. And so when we pay attention to what's happening with Venus, we have an opportunity to drop into our inner knowing. And my theory is that the illuminated heart, the Venus, which is the Venus cycle, is the medicine for the age of Aquarius that we're now crossing into at this December solstice. So we're really starting a new era right now. We're in the midst of it. And the exactitude is uncertain. There's a lot of different theories about when this starts and that ends. And in one sense, we just don't know. We don't know exactly. What we do know by external events and our own experience is that life as we knew it is deconstructing, and there's an opportunity for something new to come forth. And so I see it as a chance to choose our future timeline in a very powerful way, in a very conscious way at this time. And so when we pay attention to Venus and this illuminated heart wisdom, I feel that we have much more of an opportunity to hold all of it in love and to create a culture going forward that is based on love and care and partnership and collaboration and reverence for nature and respect for our bodies and interconnectivity. These are all themes of Venus. And so Venus represents, in the system that I work with her and in the sky where I apprentice with her, represents the evolutionary feminine energy on the planet, which has been coming back online since 2012, when Venus crossed the face of the sun and we could see her for the last time in our lives, in this very intimate moment where Venus and sun are basically, Venus is eclipsing the sun. And so the sun is infused with this Venusian energy, and Venus carries that seed, carries that spark, carries that light through her entire 19-month cycle. And so we're in the midst of almost halfway through a Venus cycle. And she is still visible as Morning Star, and will be visible for one more month as Morning Star before she disappears into the underworld. So it's a good time to get out and see her and connect with her and feel into your own heart about your longings and what's moving through and what's alive for you in that deepest place, and to really slow down in order to feel into your own heart, to come in and to allow more of you to come back home, to hold you and to find that center as the world gets wilder. So some of that wildness, has to do with the great change that we're coming into, and that the solstice time is considered the rebirth of the sun in many cultures. And there's many different places where we can mark the beginning of a year, but it's the longest night. And it's said that people stay up all night long and do ceremony and pray and just hold space for the sun to be reborn the next day. And then that point, the day after the December solstice, is when the light begins to return. Of course, we're speaking here of Northern Hemisphere orientation, so it's flipped in the Southern Hemisphere. But there's really this moment of crossing. And so it's such a powerful time to really be intimate with what we love. And it's a time to be aware of bringing light. And many, many religions and spiritual traditions are lighting candles, making offerings of light, and really remembering that even in the darkest time, that we have this ability to illuminate, that we are never separate from this source of love. And so that's the theme that's woven through a lot of the celebrations at this time of year. And so not only do we have this solstice point and the rebirth of the sun and this connection with the sign Saturn, because Saturn is connected to Capricorn, and the sun going into 0 degrees of Capricorn is when the solstice begins, which is it's early in the hours on Monday the 21st here in California. You'll have to find it in your time zone. And so there's this crossover from the Sagittarius energy of expansion and fire and vision into this grounded energy of Capricorn, this earth energy, of a feminine energy. And so it's really the energy of manifestation. And so when we add heart to that, when we're manifesting from this space of heart, then what we create will be entirely different. And so not only do we have this powerful solstice, and we have a repeat of a Venus cycle that happened 8 years ago when Venus crossed the face of the sun in 2012. She started her cycle in the same sign that she started her cycle in June of this year. So every 8 years, Venus repeats the sign that she meets up with the sun. In 2012 at solstice, we also had the sun exactly conjunct, joined with the galactic equator, with this line that the sun only makes that alignment every 25, 26,000 years. So it's a very huge turning. And so this was a lot of the mystery and a lot of the stories about the Mayan calendar ending in 2012 is because of this galactic alignment. And so we are still in the energetic of these epic openings in our consciousness, which is really what this galactic center is about, is this point that is in our, from Earth's view, we can see the galaxy through the Milky Way, right? We can see that Milky Way, and we know that's the center of the galaxy. And at that galaxy point, there is that center, there is a black hole. and it's larger than the sun. And behind that is, there's a theory, there's a central sun. So it's this light black hole, our sun, and then our solar system. So there's this vast consciousness coming through. It's considered a portal, that galactic center. And today actually is a day that's also a reverberation of the galactic center. And so we really have this opportunity to open our consciousness to what is beyond our belief, beyond our understanding, beyond our known systems. And we have these two planets that I'm sure you've been hearing about, Saturn and Jupiter, that are going to also be making a conjunction or a joining on this December 21st point on the solstice. And they are going into the sign of Aquarius, which is so much about innovation. And it's the sign of the being outside of the box and innovating. It's electric. It has a quantum quality to it, of anything can happen. And it also rules technology, or is connected to technology. So really part of this choice point is, how will we harness technology into our future? Will it be supporting our collective genius waking up to create more solutions for the myriad of problems that are currently arising on the planet? Or will technology be a problem within itself, as far as dampening our human spirit and dampening our intelligence, and continuing this theme that we've had of oppression, which is what 2020 was really about, is exposing that dominator culture that we've been living in for as long as our oldest stories, and the deconstruction, the time of that just undoing, seeing the corruption, seeing the power structures, both within us personally and in the greater world. And this total, not total, but sometimes feels like total purification, of a lot of our systems that we've been operating under. And then now we are in cleared space so that we can rise into this new vision and begin to redream the world together. So Jupiter is the planet that teaches us through expansion, and Saturn is the planet that teaches us through contraction. And we really need both of those elements in order to be successful. We need to know when to say yes, when to say no, when to expand, when to tuck in. And so they're coming together, and they do that every 20 years. And so it's a really good time to go back and think about 20 years ago, particularly May of 2000, and what got started then, if you can recall, that has been playing out for the last 20 years. There's some major piece of our work and our purpose that was touched upon when these two come together, Jupiter and Saturn. And now they're going to be coming together in a different place in the sky and touch a different place of our chart, and another 20-year cycle. And yet the more rare piece of this is that they're coming together in the sign of air. Aquarius is air. And that hasn't happened for 200 years, with one exception. So it's an exceptional time. It's an exceptional time to be alive. And you may feel, as I do, that we chose to be here. We chose to learn everything that we have to show up in our brilliance at this time, and to really do it together. But Aquarius is the consciousness that's about groups being more effective and find more solutionary than individuals can be. So it's about a leaderless kind of movement where everyone's individual uniqueness, brilliance is honored. And as we wake up to that, we can really begin to see things with new eyes, which I think may be the biggest noticeable difference as we come to this solstice point, is the lenses of perception are cleansed, as wasn't that William Blake that had that beautiful line? If we could see with the lens of perception cleared, we would see life as it actually is. We'd see the infinite I'm not saying that exactly the way he did, but this is the idea of the age of Aquarius that is dawning. And I love this reverberation of Venus repeating her cycle in that 8-year cycle now, and these epic 2020 times. And then also just that the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, one of the rulers. And Uranus is in Venus's sign right now in Taurus. And so, there's a lot of connections that I'm seeing and feeling that keep bringing us back to the heart, keep bringing us back to feeling deeply, authentically. And that is the way that we will find our way through. That's the way that we'll find our guidance and our direction for what's to come and what is ours to do while we're here. We can vision all we want, and that is excellent to do with these beautiful minds that we have. And then when we drop in and we feel our heart and we move from that place, I would say that this Venus movement, Venus crossing the sun, is the rebirth of the solar feminine, where we allow the heart to lead all of us. And we allow the radiance of our heart to really be honored in our own being. And oftentimes that starts with not knowing what comes next, and being in this uncertainty in a way that is positive and welcoming and even playful as much as we can be, because we don't know what's going to come next, and we don't know what we're going to birth. And I feel like we're already visioning it, we're already bringing it into being, and that we're meant to redream the world together at this time. So blessings on you to get to be connected to this incredible human being, Diane, who I have had the pleasure of getting to know and experience her in her radiant heart, in her absolute passion for allowing love to lead, and to really be present to the body wisdom, really be present to tending to what our bodies need in order to meet this moment and to be in, because the revolution is in. It's in the body, it's in our knowing that we find when we're actually at home within ourselves. And so her creativity and her generosity and her sparkle and her intelligence have just been such an inspiration for me, and just that she was so absolutely inspired to create this event at this time really touched my heart. And I appreciate being able to participate in this way. And so many blessings to each of you who gets a chance to be in this ceremony. And I encourage everyone to either, if you're not going to stay up all night on Sunday night, but before you go to sleep, to do some kind of intention setting and reflection, not on just on this year, but on the last 20 years. And really, what is the key learning that happened? What are the key takeaways? And to really hold yourself as the heroine or the hero in your story, that you are victorious because you got here and you are wiser. And to then, celebrate with whatever way that you do, candles, food, all the ways that we humans celebrate, dance, singing, and just to celebrate yourself for being here, and celebrate with those that you're connected to, and celebrate those who came before, the ancestors, and celebrate the beings that are in the unseen realms, and celebrate the spirits of the earth, celebrate the land outside your house, the rocks, the trees, and just to be in this energy of celebration of life as we cross this threshold, and to enjoy, to be in joy. Joy is one of the highest frequencies that we can embody. And when life is stressful, that can be more challenging. So may you find joy, and may you find gratitude, and may you give thanks, and may you celebrate all that is good in your life as we cross this threshold into a new era. And I am so blessed to get to be alive at this moment. And I am so glad that you're alive too. Blessed solstice. And I hope that your heart is full and that you allow your trust in yourself to lead you into the future as we redream the world.